For the second consecutive season, the NCAA Division II men's soccer title comes down to the Colorado State University Pueblo Thunderwolves and the Franklin Pierce University Ravens. Glad to have you with us here at the Sportsplex at Matthews, beautiful Matthews, North Carolina. Take a look at how these two teams got here. Yesterday, Franklin Pierce in a battle, able to get by the Flyers of Lewis 3-2 in a back-and-forth affair. CSU Pueblo, it took double overtime, but ultimately, Gabriel Campora with the game winner, the lone goal in the 107th minute. So for the second year in a row, it is the Thunderwolves and the Ravens with a national title on the line. Hello and welcome. Glad to have you with us on NCAA.com. Alongside Katie Goodman, I'm Kip McConico. Last year, Katie, when these two met at Interbay Stadium in Seattle, well, the Franklin Pierce Ravens able to come away with a victory 2-0 to pick up their 7th national title in program history. This year, CSU Pueblo hoping to avenge that loss and looking for their title.
Well, here's the chance to do it. I tell you what, a full brand new 90 minutes to go. And, I tell you what, this whole tournament has been full of quality. But if you're going to go back and look at any half of this entire tournament, it's going to be that Franklin Pierce and Lewis second half. It was high scoring, lots of entertaining plays happening, just pure entertainment there. And I think you can expect nothing less in this next game.
Underway, Division II Men's National Championship match. You mentioned that semifinal for the Ravens. Ultimately came away victorious 3-2. 4 of the 5 goals in that match scored in the second half. It was tied 2-2 late until Antonio Lambrea Lima found the game winner in the 77th for Franklin Pierce, able to send them back and extend the unbeaten streak. And what a streak that is, Katie. This is a team that has not lost a match since 2021. They have not lost in 732 days since they fell to Millersville in the third round of the 2021 NCAA tournament. They since have a total of 65 victories, 1 loss, and 3 draws in the last 3 seasons.
And I think what's even more impressive about this season is there's only 7 returners from that last squad. They have almost a brand new coaching staff, new head coach Travis Brent leading the way this time. So it just speaks to the quality of the program itself, their ability to recruit not only players but coaches as well.
Yeah, last year they were led by Ruben Resendez. He and his staff, the Division II coaching staff of the year. He has now moved on, the head coach at Bryant University in Rhode Island is Coach Resendez. So Travis Brent taking over, the Marshall University grad, former assistant with Charleston, where he was part of that national championship staff just a few years ago. But they don't rebuild, they reload there in New Hampshire, do the Ravens. The question is, can they make it 2 in a row and pick up their 8th national title in program history? But it's not going to be easy against the CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves side, led by 4th-year head coach Oliver 12 Trees. And there is the star freshman goalkeeper Ryan Nunn out of Broomfield, Colorado. Got the start in the semifinal. He was absolutely outstanding, did not concede a goal in the shutout victory, and he gets to start here in the championship. One thing of note for both these teams, both making a change in the starting 11 for CSU Pueblo due to injury. Sean Andrews, their graduate student star defender, went down in the semifinal, did not return, so he is replaced on the back line by Giancarlo Preto, the junior defender out of Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil. And on the other side of things, Pierre Spiegel, the senior defender for the Ravens, also injured. He does not get the start. In his place, Javier Torres Sainz, the graduate student from Spain, starting for the Ravens.
We talk a lot about injuries up until this point. Anytime you make it to a final, injuries are inevitable. And so I'm sure despite this huge loss of these 2 big players, both on the back line, not where you want movement at the moment, but if you've made it this far, that means you have got some serious depth to pull from.
We saw Coach 12 Trees of the Thunderwolves just moments ago, the native of Wales, former professional and a former commentator as well, the many things he's done. But it is all about bringing that title back to the Rocky Mountains. They had a shot a year ago, fell 2-0 to this Ravens side. Eunice Adar had that insurance goal in the 74th minute, and he is the man to keep an eye on. Adar, just such an impressive player. 2 goals in the semifinal, and he is now 2nd in the country, 21 goals on the season. But a goal scorer on the Thunderwolves side as well, Gabriel Campora. He is right behind him, 19 goals on the season, good for 4th in Division II.
I mean, so much quality out here on this field, but it's hard to ignore Eunice Adar in that last game. I mean, they went down by a goal. Lewis had an equalizer, then they scored the second, and it's almost like he very nonchalantly just said, okay, I guess it's time to score now, and then equalized. And, it's just that calmness, that composure, the creativity. It's even sometimes hard to follow the formation because there's so much movement happening between him and his center middies.
Adar leads in offense. It is third in Division II in goals scored, and you see it right here, the collision, and that time Alon Ferdman, the sophomore defender from Barcelona there.
That one had me holding my breath. It looked like that was going to be a much more painful collision, but both guys kind of just a little stunned, popped up. Anytime you got that cleat up, I can understand why he's not too happy about the call.
Yeah, his countryman on the opposite end of things, Alvaro Reymira, the graduate student from Spain as well. A Franklin Pierce team that is third in the country with 69 goals in 22 games. They have the second best goal differential of any team in the country. They've scored 69. They have only conceded 16. That is a plus 53 goal differential. Astounding.
That is insane. I mean, to make it this far and for that to be your goal differential, I don't think any team is going to want to have to go up against them at this point.
There's Coach Travis Brent, first year in charge, the former Thundering Herd man. Obviously, Adar leading the way. The third Raven to win the NE10 player. And he is the third player in a row to win that honor. And there is Adar on cue, sends it out wide. Franklin Pierce trying to get something going just over 5 minutes in, scoreless. These two fans hoping this would be the rematch from a year ago. Indeed, it is the case. If you're Franklin Pierce, obviously it's a very different side than beat CSU Pueblo last year in Seattle. But for CSU Pueblo, there are some familiar faces. They're hoping to avenge that loss, but they know it's going to be a tough task. Valente cutting in, serves that one across the box. No one able to get there. Adar in the vicinity, still the opportunity. And this one will trickle out. No trouble there. The goal kick, none. Watching that one.
Both these teams bring their own kind of different type of intensity. Franklin Pierce, they love to possess with speed, whereas CSU Pueblo, they love to get up that field as quickly as they can. Slightly more direct style of play, but what it's going to come down to here is who can dictate the style of play first, who can possess and kind of set the tone or the vibe, so to speak.
Yeah, right you are. Both these teams are really going to be trying to impart their style on this match. The Ravens coming off a tight 5-goal affair, back and forth as we mentioned, but it was chippy as well. There were 23 fouls called in that match in total, 5 yellow cards, 4 of which issued to the Ravens.
Something you'd expect in a semifinal, especially for a men's semifinal. They tend to get a little bit chippier there, but for the most part, Franklin Pierce, they tend to bring very calm, composed, classy style of soccer. And so when it comes to CSU Pueblo, it might actually be to their advantage to put a body on them here and there, because what you don't want is Franklin Pierce possessing.
Throw coming from Javier Torres Sainz. He is the new addition, the only new addition to the starting lineup. We mentioned Pierre Spiegel out, one of the 4 who picked up a yellow, also picked up a knock in that. Across the face of goal, man flashing to it. That was Aaron Sanchez, a graduate student from Coruña. Ball played in from Aitor Cuenca Retuerto. And that is just a taste of what they can do.
Such a huge piece of the puzzle there for Franklin Pierce as well. 10 goals, 2 assists. Definitely contributes to that scoring line between him and Eunice Adar. It's just, they cause a lot of trouble for people at the top.
Thunderwolves coming up the other way, trying to play quickly through Ferdman. Coach 12 Trees, assisted by Nick Blackwell. Mark Ngoga, Joshua Gardner rounding out the staff there for the Thunderwolves. Ferdman down. Good show of sportsmanship, is able to assist Jeronimo Fernando Ferri back to his feet, the Valencia, Spain native. So the free kick will be for the Thunderwolves. And the captain, Caio Oliveira, comes to take it. The senior midfielder from Brazil leads this team in assists. One of the top players in the country in that category. Sends a dangerous ball in. Vernet on the line. The senior from Miami had it covered.
Such an athletic player, really fast off his line, but he's got mad ups. He's got really sticky gloves, secure hands, and you know that these guys just feel really good depending on him back there.
Vernet, not the tallest goalkeeper, just 5'9", but as you said, great leaping ability, very sure-handed. And quickly, here come the Ravens trying to play out the other way. Sanchez, a man coming into the picture, Reymira. Alvaro Reymira will win the corner, deflected. And a set-piece opportunity now for Franklin Pierce.
One heck of a hustle there from Reymira, making that overlapping run. And you see that a lot of time, outside back, so excited just to get up into the attack. And, of course, not an outside back, he's an outside winger, but from the position of the field he was coming from, it was quite a sprint, and he made it happen, and he got there.
Hero Ferry, a graduate student. All seniors and graduate students in the starting 11 for the Ravens. And as much talent as they lost a year ago, they went to the transfer portal. They picked up a lot of new faces, but they have fit in seamlessly. There in Ridge, New Hampshire for the Ravens. Has not been a drop-off, even with the new coach. You and I, Katie, we spoke about that amongst ourselves. This team, as good as they were, you bring a new coaching staff in, that is a difficult thing to do, bringing all the new players they have, but there have not been any issues, at least not on the pitch. You look at what they've done this year, they continue to win games, just 2 draws on the season, the only blemishes, if you will, on their record.
Right, and you know, that's a whole new culture that a coach brings into a system, and new culture, new players, tons of grad students that he had to recruit, lost a lot of guys to Division I programs, so he kind of had to replace that with some experience, and I think it was a great call here.
On the other side of things, Colorado State Pueblo returning 4 players from the all-tournament team a year ago. Sean Andrews, we mentioned, the graduate student who is out injured, Kyle Oliveira, Matthew Coleman, and Campora. Sending that one in, looking for the aforementioned Campora. He is going to be their target man, and you would imagine so with 19 goals. Sanchez trying to play a counter, will get it back. Up across midfield now, slowing things down a bit.
Got to give a lot of credit to these coaches, because the coaching staff in general, because it's not just what you can do and see in the middle of a game. It's your ability to recruit. It's your ability to lead and get these guys to buy in to your program. So the fact that both these coaches are bringing these squads back to the same final says so much about them.
It certainly does. Both these programs, and that is what they are. It is not a team. They are programs to be able to do this 2 years running. Oliveira chipped over the top, looking for Campora. Trying to keep that ball in was Ricardo Schroeder Jr., a senior out of Paraná in Brazil. Franklin Pierce going into the semifinal. They had not conceded a goal in the postseason. They gave up 2 to the Flyers into that semifinal, and if you're CSU Pueblo, that is certainly good news for them, knowing that as talented as this Ravens team is, they're beatable, and the Flyers had them down. They were leading 2-1 late in the second half before they came roaring back. CSU Pueblo is going to make a change, and I wondered how long this would take. Noe Ortiz Peña coming on, the senior from Aurora, Colorado. He was, in my estimation, the most dangerous man in the second half. He came on in the 57th minute, played the rest of the match, both overtime periods. He won the penalty in the 107th minute, which Campora finished, ultimately the game winner. He was the spark. Can he be the spark today in the final?
Those off-the-bench players are so important. They really, in themselves, can be a game changer, a momentum shift. Sometimes it's sheer will. Sometimes it's just reading the field differently because you've had a chance to watch it and break it down.
Keep an eye on number 9, Ortiz Peña for the Thunderwolves. Brought the energy. They will be expecting him to do so again today. Coming from behind, able to win it, was Zavacini. And here they come up the other way. Campora eluding one would-be tackle. Looking for the aforementioned Ortiz Peña out in space. Trying to find room to serve it in. Not there. They will bring it back. There to Aneo. Kinchin Uneo, the senior midfielder, he is all across the pitch. We'll talk more about him as this match progresses, but a true two-way midfielder, a throwback, and I mean that as a compliment. Oliveira able to pick the pocket. Now Campora eludes one tackle and able to get a shot off. Well done there coming in, able to take it away from Campora. You see both these teams very quick to move the ball up the pitch when they take possession.
Right, and I would say maybe not even as quick as that CSU Pueblo and Florida Tech game. It was two really similar styles. They were able to move the ball just the same with so much speed, and you're seeing that here. It's a little more complementary with this game, the style of play, and so we're seeing some really good stuff.
Ortiz Peña looking for Campora. Headed away. Javier Torres Sainz able to get on the end of it. You can see Thomas Espero, the grad student from Norway, one of the center backs, just telling his defense to calm down, take a deep breath.
Espero kind of tends to bring that more traditional, old-school defending style, coach says. Loves having someone back there who's really consistent that you can rely on, and also gritty and gets things done when you need them.
Oliveira, Vespigala de Oeste Brazil, will take it. To the back post, too tall, had a man. Vernet there. What a chance it was. Preto, his countryman, on the end of it, but couldn't finish.
You know, the entire Franklin Pierce bench were holding their breath in that moment, but of course, Carl Vernet there to handle business. Right place at the right time, and talk about quick feet off that line.
Yeah, that ball just found a big Giancarlo Preto, all 6'5" of him, the defender who gets to start in place of the injured Sean Andrews. And Preto just unable to get enough power behind it, but as you so correctly said, well positioned was the goalkeeper Vernet. What a start that would have been had Preto been able to send that one through.
Definitely would have been the shock factor there for Franklin Pierce. And, you know, we saw it in that last game versus Lewis. They scored early on, then they kind of settled a bit. They kind of took it easy, and before you know it, by the time the second half came around, Lewis came out with a bang. One, and then a second one right after that to take the lead. And it really wasn't until then that Franklin Pierce started upping their game.
I don't think that is a mistake that will be made today. They took their foot off the gas a little, so to speak, in the semifinal, let the Flyers back into it. As talented as this team is, I'm feeling if they're able to find a goal, it is going to be all hands on deck looking for insurance. Again, a very warm welcome to you, whether you may be joining us there from the Mountain Time Zone or here in the East, New Hampshire or Colorado, anywhere in between. Glad to have you with us. The top two teams in men's Division II soccer for a second consecutive season. The weather has been quite lovely this week. It was cooler in our semifinal match on Thursday, particularly in the late match for CSU Pueblo. Certainly not cold by their standards, but just about 60 degrees, mostly cloudy. There was a bit of rain, and I say drizzle to be accurate, very light rain before, as Ortiz Peña shrieks forward. Ortiz Peña trying to serve this in, and he's won the corner.
Really solid hustle. Going back to that light rain, you can't help but wonder if that's going to change things, but nobody seems to be slipping or sliding or worried about field conditions at all. But, you know, sometimes it's in these moments in the box where things get kind of chippy and tough that one slip could cost you a goal.
Slick ball. We'll see. Oliveira. That captain's armband. Looking to the back post. Had a man and tried to say it took a deflection, did Iggy DeMark, but they're going to say the senior from Phoenix last to touch it. Vernet wasting no time, a quick restart. The Ravens content to play out of the back.
First slip of the game there.
Yeah, the pitch in absolutely fantastic condition, the natural grass surface here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Big thanks to the entire crew and our staff. Saw them out after the 4 matches on Thursday in the semifinals. They've been out today. just finished up our women's final. Congratulations to the Sea Lions of Point Loma. First ever women's Division II national championship as the green and gold will take it back to San Diego. Able to come away with a 1-0 victory over Washburn. A very entertaining match.
Really just a great day of soccer so far.
It has been indeed. Overlapping run. Parafita Bastillero had a man. Rey Mira knew it. Great service from Rodrigo Parafita Bastillero. Rey Mira knows he should have done better, wants another crack at that one.
It was a hard situation. He ran in a little bit behind. It's hard when you're coming in behind the ball. The ball's going to go up almost every time versus down towards the goal. The effort is great, though, and the opportunities are fantastic.
Well, Peña looking again to serve this one in. You can already see the energy he's brought since coming on. They did not waste much time going to the bench, did Coach 12 Trees, to put Peña in, and he's rewarded him. Ferri wins the foul committed by Oliveira. And Hero Ferri still down on the pitch. A graduate student from Valencia, Spain, taking a second to shake this one off. Coach 12 Trees, and a native of Wales, former professional in his own right. Here's another look.
Ooh, yeah, nice quality chip behind the Achilles there. That one hurts.
Yeah, good to see Ferri back on his feet. Does not appear any worse for wear. Just took a second to kind of shake that one off, understandably.
I think anyone who's ever played soccer knows exactly how that feels.
Carapena, Ferri. Ferri moving up. Numbers behind the ball right now. Parafita Bastillero serves this one in. Dangerous ball, found the head just wide, but again the service coming from Rodrigo Parafita Bastillero. They're going to have to figure out a way to close down the A Coruña, Spain native.
Again, Coach talks about his consistent ability on both sides of the ball, and that is just tough to defend, especially when you're coming from so deep and then you start causing problems up top.
Katie, we saw in the semifinal, his service is on the money pretty much every time.
It makes sense why he's trying to get up there in the corner and get a service off.
Some miscommunication as Ortiz Peña was coming back. That ball played down the line well over his head. So Parafita Bastillero back to take the throw.
You also have to hand it to CSU Pueblo, who's kind of forcing them into that direction. They're defending well as a unit, forcing them into that corner to cross it in rather than trying to tiki-taki through the middle.
Burden pass intercepted by Rey Mira, and Ferdman able to win it right back. Rey Mira making a run down the near touchline, but Ferri unable to locate him. Pasco. Naoneo. Coleman up to Campora. They are not letting number 23 find much space. Tries to get on the Estas, Gabriel Campora. First there was Espero. Mentioned the old school defender. Nothing flashy from Espero, but as a center back, that's what you want. He is just solid as a rock.
The last thing you want is a flashy center back. You don't want anyone playing with that ball on the most dangerous part of the field.
Peña, Oliveira with a bicycle kick. And Vernet able to come away with it. I think that may have been just a bit wide, but Vernet couldn't take the chance. Man,
do not count CSU Pueblo out. Probably the best player on their team is Caio Oliveira. 13 assists, single goal, but you know he has, in so many instances, been a key player in every goal that has come this season.
Those 13 assists not only lead the team, that is fourth in all of Division II men's soccer. Just over halfway through the opening 45 and a scoreless affair thus far. Very evenly matched, both teams probing, trying to find that opener. Shipped over. Sanchez. There was none at the near post.
Very interesting matchup here. You know, when you look at that CSU Pueblo and Florida Tech game, there was so much back and forth, but just not a ton of looks at the goal. Whereas you see this game, and both teams have some quality looks, quality opportunities, quality buildup. It's much more evenly matched.
Without a doubt. That was a very close, conservative match. Neither team willing to take a risk. They're both just sitting back, neither willing to make a mistake. We're seeing both these teams open things up, both going for it as the Ravens will make a substitution. Antonio Lamprea Lima, the sophomore from Lisbon, Portugal, coming on, taking the place of his countryman, João Valente. It was Lamprea Lima who had the game winner late in that semifinal. Ultimately, that was enough. That match tied at 3-3. Excuse me, at 2-2 until, well, able to come through there was Lamprea Lima in the 77th minute.
Coach mentioned the guys love having him because he's just one of those players who can move the needle forward. But, you know, he really has so much potential still left to tap into. And I think that's the best part about him for Coach Brent, is that sky is still very much the limit for them.
Lamprea Lima, a senior, mentioned the so much upperclassmen talent on both of these rosters, and for that matter alone, it is all the more astounding that the goalkeeper starting this match, as he did the semifinal, Ryan Nunn for CSU Pueblo, is a freshman. Sintin Remira, the man, has a man looking for the spectacular. Referee says play on. Ravens wanted the penalty. They're not going to get it. And here comes Campora. And now the Thunderwolves playing up the other way. Pasco. Two defenders in tow. Now a third comes in. Able to lay it off to Oneo.
Lots of hands up on that last play. Eunice going down the box. You could see he was trying to wind up to get a bicycle kickoff or maybe something tricky and chippy over the top. Just had no room to do it with someone on his back.
Coleman. Pasco. Vernet there at the near post. It looked like Pasco, the senior from Barry Wales, had it measured.
Tell you what, they are making Vernet work in this game. Despite the high scoring line and that last matchup, I think this is the most he has had to show out here so far this tournament.
Remember, they were down, if albeit very shortly, 2-1. That is only the second time this season that Franklin Pierce has trailed in a match.
And again, that says so much about Lewis as an organization, about the talent and the caliber here in the tournament.
A team that has not lost a regular season, or not lost a match in 732 days. They haven't lost a regular season match in 777 days. They fell back on October the 23rd of 2021 at Stonehill in double OT. Again, Pasco has a bit of room in front of him. Now second defender comes in, able to thread the needle. Campora laying it off. Coleman. Out to Ortiz Peña. Peña trying to weave his way through. Couldn't find Campora. Oliveira, oh, what great touch here. Oliveira's shot just flashes high. Did it take a touch? It did indeed. Vernet fingertips to it. It will be a corner for the Thunderwolves. Heck
of a shot and heck of a save. And, you know, we talk about how CSU Pueblo just wasn't taking chances. They were really taking chances here. Not wasting any time to pull that trigger.
Oliveira, we mentioned 13 assists to lead his team. That is fourth in Division II. Just has a single goal on the season. What a spectacular second that would have been. To the back post, able to find a teammate in blue. Remira wisely clearing this one. Thunderwolves up trying to get back defensively, I should say, is taken down. Lamprea Lima wins the foul, and maybe a card to boot. There it is, yes indeed. And the first caution of the match comes out, and CSU Pueblo in the book. The foul on Antonio Lamprea Lima by Noé Ortiz Peña.
I mean, it's a good teamwork there, helping to pick him up and pat him on the back, but you know that one hurt in more ways than one, slowing down that play, and I feel like that's just something you gotta expect to see here in this game. Again, Franklin Pierce, not a team that you want to possess, and as long as you're making smart fouls, I think that's okay.
Ferry there on the right. Parafita Bastillero. As Ferry steps over, and it will be, as we imagine, Parafita Bastillero, you would assume, will take this. His service, arguably the best of anyone on the pitch. Dangerous ball to the back post. Had the head of Adar. Heads it across. Did it take a touch? No, it'll be a goal kick for the Thunderwolves and Ryan Nunn.
Ryan Nunn really having to step up here, and just this season in general. Yunus Adar, of course, in the right spot, and you've seen him score from that positioning before, but just can't breathe with all those blue jerseys just touch tight.
Nunn, one of 3 goalkeepers the Thunderwolves have used this year, along with Ruben Volkert and Tristan Whitlock. Nunn actually behind Whitlock in minutes. Whitlock the only one over 1,000 minutes. But Nunn, who's really come on of late. Again, the impressive semifinal shutout. Gets the start today in the final. A .54 goals against average, a save percentage of 79% for the freshman. Two changes coming for the Ravens. You can see them there, ready to check in. Pedro Branco, the junior from Portimao, Portugal. It'll be Lucio Shaya, the graduate student from Buenos Aires, Argentina, both set to come on at the next opportunity.
These big-time final games, a lot of it depends on senior leadership willing to step up in big moments.
Those two changes now. We mentioned Shaya alongside Branco. It'll be Remira and Ferry coming off for the Ravens. Just over a quarter of an hour remaining here in a scoreless first half. Shaya unable to find his target. He was looking for Sanchez. Excuse me, rather Lamprea Lima closest to it, but couldn't connect with number 10. Up to Adar. He's been a non-factor here in the first half. Man who's second in all of Division II men's soccer with 21 goals, but Thunderwolves has done a very good job keeping him under wraps.
And that very well just may be the name of the game for them here. I mean, plenty of guys who can put it away. Of course, you have Aaron Sanchez behind him with 10 goals, 2 assists. So you can't give up too much energy to one player, but by all means, definitely want to give him a little bit of extra attention.
Thunderwolves trying to play out of the back, some tight passing along this near touch line. Back to Uneo, who goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, Nunn.
Kenshin Uneo, Matt Coleman, they're just above that back line, I think is what's making this so difficult for Franklin Pierce. They are absolutely pivotal here.
Coach Twelvetree is effusive in his praise for that pair, saying Uneo is the hardest worker not on the team but in all of college soccer. And then he went further to say that Coleman, he's the glue guy, the one who keeps it all together for this team. High praise indeed.
You can see it play out right there on the field. Even if you didn't have those words from Coach, you can see it evidenced right here in front of you.
Cuenca Retuerto out of Bilbao there in País Vasco. Taking the throw. Quickly into Pasco. Back from Ferdman. Uneo pulling the strings in the midfield. Trying to slow things down a bit here. Oliveira unable to hold on to it. I think against the team with such a high-powered offense as the Ravens, when you have possession, you have to value it. That's Matthew Coleman out of Sheffield in England pleading his case. One of the men with the captain's armband for good reason. We love the sportsmanship. We've seen it throughout the semifinals, saw it in our women's final earlier today, and they are battling with everything they have, but they are all in the same boat, all impressive student athletes, and I think the mutual respect speaks volumes.
Right. Both coaches made a point to say that when they recruit, they're recruiting the person first over the player. The person, specifically head coach Brandt said the person, the people, and then the player. And you can see that here.
You can indeed. Iggy DeMark there trying to shake it off. Maybe more changes coming for the Ravens. It appears Caleb Williams along with, I believe that was Joaquin Lauria Calvo, a freshman defender, another Porteño set to come on. Headed on. Ravens chance to serve another ball in, and this one across. I think it was flicked on by Adar. He may have gotten a touch to it as Branco came flashing in, but couldn't put it on frame.
Oh, man. Head in the hands. You can totally understand it. We've all been there before. Sometimes that ball has so much pace on it, and there's a bit of a bounce there. Just couldn't quite get that one deflecting down.
And now the two changes that we mentioned coming on, and there you saw moments ago Joaquin Lauria Calvo, the freshman out of Buenos Aires, Argentina. Another man who played big minutes as a substitute in the semifinal. Javier Torres Sainz and Aitor Cuenca Retuerto. Retuerto there will get a break. Caleb Williams on as well. DeMark coming off, so a change for the Thunderwolves. And O'Hara making his first appearance of the match, the junior from Florida. It's not the fact that he's from Florida. He's from Melbourne, Florida. Played against his hometown team, Florida Tech, in the semifinal.
You know that had to mean so much to him. Soccer's just such a small world, and then when you're playing a team from your hometown, it's even smaller.
Ultimately, able to come away with that double overtime 1-0 victory. Ortiz Pena winning the penalty, but you know that meant a lot to him. A special feeling indeed. But that is in the past, and I think he would tell you as much. It's all about the task at hand, and this one nearly slipping through again. A dangerous ball coming from the wide area. The Thunderwolves defense being tested.
And you know, despite a lot of really quality development there for Franklin Pierce, they haven't had a clear shot.
Shia up to Williams. Wonder frustration maybe setting in on the part of the Ravens, as talented as they are offensively, being shut down. And Pena clears this one. Pena sitting on a yellow, the only player to have picked up a card thus far. Saw it in the 28th. But aside from that, a very cleanly played first half. We thought it would be physical, which it has been, but it's also been free-flowing and very entertaining. Both teams playing an attacking brand of soccer. Now with Lamprey Lima. And wisely able to send it off. Savacini for the corner.
CSU is just really running that high press to exception. It's putting the pressure on Franklin Pierce's back line, and it's making them struggle and kind of rush into the attack, I think.
Parafita Bastillero will come over to take the set piece, as he does on almost all occasions. Another good opportunity. Thiago Baraguina, the freshman from Portugal, may be coming on. We will see. But first, back to the corner with Parafita Bastillero. Had a man wide open, but no trouble for none, as that service was near the top of the 18. Just not enough on the header from that distance. Nunn electing to play out of the back quickly through Zavacini. Both these goalkeepers very adept with their feet. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Our women's final, it was a scoreless first half as well. The Second half, things opened up a bit, not dissimilar from this match. Also a high-flying affair, but the defenses and the goalkeepers just difficult to find a way through. Shaya chips over looking for Williams. Williams unable to settle that one.
Good idea trying to implement a diagonal run there. Definitely something that could cause some problems for CSU Pueblo.
Over now with Torres Sainz. Lamprea Lima, oh, good ball. Branco, edge of the 18. First touch, Williams. Closest to it, but couldn't get on the end.
Nothing like when a ball bounces through the 5-yard box. But the fact that it's getting there is always a good sign.
And Pedro Branco, who's come on, the junior defender from Portugal, he's made things happen, and that's all you can ask of a substitute. Is 2 more coming on. And there is Thiago Baraguina, the freshman from Portugal, and his counterpart. Neil Jonasson, the redshirt sophomore from Sweden, making his first appearance. As Pasco for the Thunderwolves coming off, alongside Carapena, the midfielder from Cali, Colombia, for the Ravens.
In the game for CSU Pueblo, number 16, Emil Johnson.
Ferry. Back to Espero there, slowing things down. Espero is a stalwart, a rock on the back line. Able to get by Ortiz Peña. And that will draw the whistle. I can't speak highly enough of Ortiz Peña, what he did in that semifinal. He came on and really just changed the complexion of the match.
There's not enough to be said about those bench players, you know, understanding that sometimes they're at their best coming off the bench and just understanding that that's your role, and maybe you don't get all the glory of being in that starting 11, but knowing that, hey, I can come into a game and change things and still get the goals.
You have to have that mentality. Sometimes a player maybe feels a bit disrespected. You see some of them sometimes a little despondent, hang their head if they're not in the starting 11. But these young men know that no matter what your role is, you have to fulfill it. And they've done that to a T. Give them full credit. And to get to where they've gotten at this stage of the season, it's not just about the starting 11. You have to have a full and very deep roster to be one of the final 2 remaining.
Right, a lot of times you don't see a ton of variation in the keeper or back line role, but you'll see some up top. But if you're at this point, you need to even have that depth on the back line and from the keeper position too. Point here, Ryan Nunn, young guy, young freshman, was maybe even 3rd, 4th string, and then has worked his way up and has now just been an absolute important piece here to this team.
You said it, one of 3 goalkeepers that the Thunderwolves have utilized this season. Branco able to win it back. Now back to the rock that is Espero. Sent up out of the back, searching ball. Parafita Bastillero making the run, able to get on the end of it, but couldn't keep this in play. Frustration there on the part of one of the Raven captains. He's done everything asked of him, just final ball not on target. 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Scoreless between the Thunderwolves and the Ravens, a rematch of last year's title tilt, and the foul by Campora easily called there. Comes back, extends the arm, does the Saltillo, Mexico native. And that's one he begged the pardon of the official and hope you don't end up in the book.
Sometimes emotions are high when you're right in the moment. But yeah, foul all day long when you're coming from behind like that.
Shaya trying to find some space. So looking through was Lamprea Lima. Couldn't find a teammate. Play continues, at least momentarily, and now the whistle after the tackle on big Giancarlo Preto.
Can't help but wonder if we're going to start seeing more shots from distance here. Both teams doing their best to find the seams.
Oliveira finding the seam, able to locate Campora. Has Ortiz Peña up to the top, and now to number 9 he goes. Peña, edge of the 18, a little step over, tries to put it on the right, and a heavy touch will never get the cross in.
It's hard. It's the final game of your season, the final minutes of the final first half. It's when legs get heavy.
And both teams making changes.
Number 17, Peleo Gonzalez Suarez.
And now Gonzalez Suarez, the graduate defender out of Oviedo, Spain, coming on for the Ravens. And it'll be Reggie Nicholas, the senior from Palm Bay, Florida, coming on for the Thunderwolves as Rodrigo Parafita Bastillero gets a break. No doubt we will see him in the second half, and it'll be Gabriel Campora coming off at least for a bit for the Thunderwolves. Just under 4 minutes remaining. A first half deadlocked, scoreless. Both teams with opportunities as Espero will take the goal kick to restart things. Both teams with chances. Thunderwolves have thus far been able to shut down Eunice Adar, and on the other end, the Ravens have done the same with Gabriel Campora, so the goals may have to come from someone else beside the respective teams' leading scorers.
I think that's why you're starting to see Kyle Oliveira emerge, a couple shots on goal, and I talk a lot about these players who have to just show up big in these big moments, and these are some guys who've been here and done that before.
Jonathan up to take the throw. Turned over Shaya there. Now out to Branco. Branco serves this one, looking for Adar. Backtracking, able to get a touch to it. Still danger, still Ravens with possession. Sanchez. And Shaya clipped and will win the foul, and it may be a card to boot. And it will, and that's going to be on Kyle Oliveira, the Thunderwolves captain in the book. And he's the second CSU Pueblo player to join that inauspicious club.
Of course, things starting to get chippy as expected. We'll have a look back at that, and all in good intention, I think. But missed the ball there and got the player instead.
I think Lucio Shaya may disagree with that being in good intention. The Argentine clipped from behind, but in all seriousness right there, 2 cards, both for the Thunderwolves. Peña picks up the caution in the 28th. Oliveira just moments ago, so certainly things to keep an eye on. They can ill afford to go a man down. Not in a match like this with the title on the line. Branco will take the free kick. Sent to the back post. Nunn had it covered, read it well.
Tell those guys to calm it down, keep those nerves composed, and again, just such a quality player here. You wouldn't guess that he was a freshman.
Katie, I was just about to say, it's one thing to play in college as a freshman, but to be a goalkeeper where there's so much pressure on each and everything you do, if you make the tiniest mistake, that could well be the difference. Nunn, outstanding, a shutout semifinal performance. He's done a great job thus far in the final. And he's playing well beyond his years. So there's a man down for the Ravens in the center of the pitch, so they will send this one out to touch. And hoping this is simply a cramp, and I believe that is Joaquin Lauria Calvo, the freshman defender from Argentina.
Talk about that pressure, Kit, and I think at this level that pressure can make or break a player, and in most cases, if they're here on this team that we're watching today, that pressure is only helping them to be better.
And Coach Brent, first year in charge for the Marshall University alum. He knows what it takes to win championships, did so as a part of the staff there in Charleston. Now Lauria Calvo back on his feet. Play continues, under 2 minutes remaining in the half. Juan Lima had it momentarily dispossessed. Well won there from Coleman. Matthew Coleman trying to make a nuisance of himself in the center of the pitch. And who scored the game winner in the 77th against Lewis in the semifinal to book the Ravens' second consecutive trip to this championship match. Looking for their 8th men's soccer title as a program. Oliveira unable to find much room around Branco.
Tell you what, if there's anything the Ravens do well, it's just possess and work their way out of tight spots.
Ravens will have the throw. Coleman the last to touch it. Under a minute remaining in the half. Adar, second in Division II soccer, 21 goals. He had a brace, 2 in the semifinal, but he has been erased here in the first half, and you can credit the Thunderwolves defense because number 9 has not been a factor.
Very, very quiet here in this first half.
Just about 25 seconds remaining into the first half, and maybe one final opportunity. Branco comes up to take the throw. They find the opener at the end of half number 1. All the way out to Williams. Shot deflected.
5, 4, 3.
This opportunity slices off the boot and into touch. Now 45 minutes, no score between CSU Pueblo and Franklin Pierce. A title on the line, and we will have to head to the second half to determine the winner. All to play for the 2023 Division II Men's Soccer Championship. When we return, we'll take a look at our first half stats and the second half of action here at the Sportsplex at Matthews on NCAA.com. Welcome you back. Half number 2 here in the 2023 NCAA Division II Men's Soccer Championship match. Franklin Pierce, CSU Pueblo for the second consecutive season. The Ravens and the Thunderwolves, the final 2 teams remaining. A title on the line. Last year, Franklin Pierce able to come away with a victory 2-0 to win their 7th title overall. This year, Thunderwolves hoping to avenge the loss and bring that title back to the Rocky Mountains. Alongside Katie Goodman, I'm Kip McConico on NCAA.com. Glad to have you with us. Katie, not a lot separating these teams through the opening 45 minutes. Shots about the same, 6-5 in favor of the Ravens. But really, everything else, corners right there, 2 and 3. Fouls the same. Really the only difference, there were 2 yellow cards issued to the Thunderwolves, as picked up one did Kyle Oliveira and Noe Ortiz Peña before that. But that is, in all honesty, the only difference we saw in the first 45 minutes.
Right, and shots on goal, but I would say CSU Pueblo is bringing some real serious quality. We've seen bicycle kicks, we've seen one-touch volleys, a lot of good stuff from them. They are taking this very seriously, as I think anyone would if you're out there on that field. Yeah. But it seems like a different performance for them versus that last game.
I mentioned trying to avenge last year's loss out at Interbay Stadium in Seattle, and they fell 2-0 to these Ravens. Trying to beat a Franklin Pierce team that has not lost in 732 days. Their last loss back in 2021 when they fell in penalty kicks to Millersville in the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament. Since then, 65 wins in 3 draws, no losses. And that is just astounding for a team with a plus 53 goal differential. But CSU Pueblo more than holding their own too far in front of Ortiz Peña. Couldn't hold this, and the star substitute who came on early in the first half gets the start in the second. I think that is a great decision by Coach 12 Trees.
Right, he's really a big piece of the lineup here, especially against this Franklin Pierce team. He just brings that little extra something, and all these guys, of course, have something bigger to play for here. They want to avenge last season's title. But, you know, when you come off of being a bench player and you get that start in that final half of the season, that's got to feel good.
The sun's setting here in the Tar Heel State. Hope you've had a wonderful time joining us all week. Temperature still a very pleasant 60 degrees. There is a slight bit of drizzle that we've endured on and off throughout this match, but really has not affected the quality nor the footing as Ferry sends that one to the opposite end, looking for Adar. Adar, who's second in Division II soccer with 21 goals, had a brace in the semifinal, but has not found more than a single shot thus far in the match.
Right, he's going to have to really turn it on, wake up a little more if they want to walk away with the win on this one.
His counterpart, Gabriel Campora, fourth with 18 goals. Now 19 after the penalty kick into the semifinal. But he also has not been the factor that they were hoping for. CSU Pueblo, it took 107 minutes to find the lone goal in their semifinal match, but able to take down Florida Tech 1-0 in a double OT. On the other end, it was a back and forth affair for Franklin and Pierce in their semifinal against Lewis. They trailed 2-1 before rattling off 2 goals late in that to book their spot in a second consecutive title match. Gives you an idea of the quality they have. And Katie, you said it in the first half, but when they went down to the Flyers, they flipped a switch.
That they did, and sometimes that's what it takes for a team like this. They have to play under a little bit more pressure, and you would think that they'd already be feeling like that here, 0-0 into the second half.
Yeah, they know what is at stake. The winning streak, the title, all of the things we've mentioned. Campora out to Nicholas. Gets the start here in the second half after coming on as a first half sub.
And also things change in the second half. You know, you get your coach's talking points. You just begin to learn certain players. You can finally get into a huddle and talk about what's happening. And that's where you see a lot of breakthroughs.
Speaking of, Parafita Bastillero heading forward. None unable to come up with it cleanly. And there is the opener. Second chance opportunity, and the Ravens on top. Aaron Sanchez makes it 1-0 Franklin Pierce.
And look at that celebration. Fans brought the instruments. There's a full-on huddle on both sides of the field for Franklin Pierce. All joy.
49th minute goal out wide to Parafita Bastillero. His service has been stellar all match.
Beautiful through ball, and sometimes it's just picking it up off that second ball, having that wherewithal. You're moving together as a unit into the attacking third. It's the late runs that get you sometimes. And of course, it's Aaron Sanchez.
Sanchez with the goal. His 11th of the season. One of the men who sometimes is overlooked as good as Eunice Adar is, but Sanchez, never a man you can look past. The graduate student out of A Coruña there in the northwestern part of Spain. Beautiful finish, and it looks like he may have had an issue there with communication, as both he and a defender were in the vicinity. Neither made a play on it. And against a player as talented as Sanchez, those are mistakes you cannot make in the box.
Absolutely not. I think they just got them on the counter and just didn't have enough guys to get back and be compact in those moments. And that's where Franklin is really, really dangerous. If you give them enough space, they'll take advantage.
Now how do the Thunderwolves respond? Down, still a lot of time remaining, a full 40 minutes. But Campora and company, they will have to find at least one goal if they're going to continue. Burnett, no trouble. That one far too easy for the senior from Miami. He was tested in the first half, not something that has happened all too often this season, but he has really come on of late, has Carl Burnett. It's Diego Montoya Casillas, who actually has started more matches, played over 1,000 minutes in goal, but they're riding the hot hand, and you can see why. That
they are, and you know, it makes you wonder, is this going to open up the scoring line? Surely they're not going to be taking their foot off the gas in this one. There's not enough time left in the game to really get away with something like that.
Last year in their championship out in Seattle, they found the opener in the 11th minute. Miguel Angel Pastor Gutierrez made it 1-0. They had to wait until the 74th for the insurance. That was a long wait for Ravens fans as Adar made it 2-0. Ultimately, that was the final scoreline. But I have a feeling they are going to turn the screws and apply some pressure, because they remember what happened against Lewis just 48 hours ago. They were up. They didn't find the insurance. Lewis found their way back in it, and that is not a position that they want to be in here with the title on the line.
Right. I'm hoping that Coach Brent came to them at halftime and reminded them of that. You know, there's a lot of things that you want to forget sometimes in previous games, but there's a lot of things that you have got to remember if you don't want to make the same mistake.
Out there with Jonason. Emil Jonason gets the start here in the second half, tries to make his way to this, and ball kept in play, if only momentarily, and out over the near touchline it goes. Ortiz Peña couldn't keep it in. Trying to rally the troops is the Aurora, Colorado product. Gloria Calvo, the freshman from Argentina, over to take it. But these teams very deep benches, which we saw them dip into in the first half. Nicholas trying to find a way through, coming from behind, a big tackle and a scary tackle there if you're a Ravens fan, one that has to be made cleanly, and was by Carpena. Vernet with the save, and the rebound just off the mark. That was the chance. Thunderwolves could not equalize. Campora inches wide.
My jaw is dropped because look at this. One heck of a header, really forces Vernet to work. And even in that follow-up, just so close.
Great defending from Thomas Espero. Campora couldn't find a way around the big Norwegian defender. Opportunities, you would imagine, are not going to come like that too often. For a goal scorer like Campora, that is one that you have to put across.
Well defended. Also lucky there wasn't a card or anything called there in that moment, but that's just what you have to do as a center back. You have to take that risk.
So far, the two top strikers, Campora and Adar, they have been erased from this match, so to speak. Certainly been nullified by each defense. Adar, the only returning member of the Ravens all-tournament team from a year ago. The rest having to moved on, as did Coach Ruben Resendez. Now the head coach at Bryant University, as Coach Travis Brent has taken over. There has been no drop-off whatsoever in his first year in charge. We said it in the first half, but that is an incredibly difficult thing to do. Reloading with talent and a new coaching staff, but back in the national championship, the unbeaten streak remains since 2021.
Still tons of time to go here. And, you know, you have to applaud CSU Pueblo in that response very quickly, almost returning the favor.
What we've seen from the RMAC side, not just here in North Carolina, but all season long, they are not going to capitulate. Here comes Adar, rare opportunity, ball at his boots as a man coming in. Pass behind his intended target, that was Pedro Branco, the man he was trying to link up with. Gloria Calvo. Parafita Bastillero, this is played into a wide area. Ferry wins the throw. But right now, Thunderwolves in a difficult position. They have to play quickly with a sense of urgency, but you know you have a lot of time and you need to stay composed as well.
Right. What they were doing in that first half, they were doing really well. So they just have to continue to find that composure and dictate the game and the pace. I think if they can dictate the pace and up it a bit, it's going to hurt Franklin Pierce. They want to slow it down. As you see here, they want to move it across the back line, possess, go in and out. But that high press defense has made it difficult for them.
They're a team that likes to maintain possession. They will wait for the opportunity and pounce on it. But here comes Campora off the giveaway. Out to Nicholas to the top side. Nicholas, heavy touch. And he will get it back. No, he will not. Just too far. Franklin Pierce, such a talented side. They are very content to play out of the back. It is rare you see them loft that Route 1 ball over.
Right, and I think it's an ebb and flow. You know, you want to possess, you want to build out slowly, but then at times it kind of works to your advantage to catch a team off guard. Maybe, send a long ball or a direct low ball into the feet of your center striker. We talk about how Sadar has been nullified, but he really is a team player, even off the ball. He wants his teammates to score, so he needs to, with that in mind, find ways to pull defenders out and create space for other people to run in.
That's a great point. This is a team game, and Adar certainly will be content if all the focus is on him, if that opens things up for his teammates. Jonathan pressing forward. Ortiz Peña down the line. Thunderwolves with the throw. But first, a substitution. It'll be for CSU Pueblo as Sam Birch will come on for Emil Jonason. Birch making his first appearance of the match. The sophomore out of Wigan, England from the Manchester City Academy.
Man, City Academy is a pretty impressive line on the resume, I'd say.
I'd say that's a pretty decent team there in European soccer. They've won a few things the last few years. You see that from a lot of these young men coming through some big-time academies, be it Spain, England, Brazil, Portugal, wherever they may be from. As Oliveira will head over to take the corner. Nicholas trying to provide that energy off the bench. 33 minutes remaining, a ton of time, but each opportunity precious. You cannot squander a single one. Keep an eye on number 4, Giancarlo Preto, the 6'5" defender, but it will never reach him. Not enough on that ball.
Those are the moments you really have to take advantage of and make the most of.
Oliveira in Vernet there, and he took that one over the head of the 6'5" Preto. You mentioned the leaping ability, off balance, and Vernet still comes down with it cleanly.
I mean, talk about acrobatics. We'll have a look back at this. This ball is in and over a really, really tall Giancarlo Preto as well. I mean, height doesn't have anything here on Vernet.
No, Vernet making no mistake there. And able to come away with it cleanly as well. It's one thing to get there, punch that ball away, but he didn't have to. He secured it. Now up there to Huneo. Now Oliveira trying to switch field over to Zavacini. Zavacini continues to run. Now finally to Campora, and a heavy tackle. Espero needs to be careful. 2 cards have both been on the Thunderwolves, and you will not see yellow here. Our officials are going to say it was offside on CSU Pueblo, and just caught on the wrong side when that ball played. Burnett, the senior out of Miami, as the rain continues to fall so softly here in the Tar Heel State. Hasn't been tested all too often, but when he has, he's come up with some big saves.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing like trying to fight for a final in the cold rain. I think it makes it all that much better, whoever ends up taking the hardware home.
Fans out here supporting their teams regardless of the weather. And well, for the fans from Colorado and New Hampshire, it's still just about 60 degrees, so I don't think they're having too much of an issue with the weather. It was much cooler Thursday in our semifinal round. But huge thanks to them and all of you joining us on NCAA.com for your support of Division II athletics, the 50th anniversary of Division II. What a great 50 years it has been. No, I have not been around for all 50 years, just most of them, Katie.
No judgment. Wasn't going to say anything.
You're too kind.
You swear, you act like you're 70.
I do enjoy an early dinner and bedtime, and therefore I'm not too far off, at least in that regard.
70 on the inside.
Exactly right. Just under half an hour remaining. Lots of soccer, but CSU Pueblo, they're playing the style they need to. They're taking these chances. Vernet quickly off his line. Not caught napping. And a quick rollout up to Parafita Bastillero, trying to restart things the other way. And he has Sanchez, the goal scorer. Sanchez went low, deflected right back to him. Now back to one of the captains. Rodrigo Parafito Bastillero wins the throw. And not pleased with his service there.
That one looked like it hit the forearm there.
Zavicini, the junior out of Santa Catarina, Brazil. Another good, dangerous ball in, but none had it covered at the near post. Ortiz Peña. Slight shove, but simply the throw for the Thunderwolves. Matches stayed above board. We haven't seen the chippiness that really ensued in our semifinal match, particularly in the Franklin Pierce-Lewis game, where we saw a total of 5 cards.
That one looked like it was just going to continue to escalate had time not run out.
Yeah, that was a match that we had 5 cards, 23 fouls. Really, because of that, had a lot of starts and stops. It was difficult to find a flow to that match. That has not been the case here. Oliveira finds this one in the center circle. Campora, the heavy touch. Gloria Calvo there. And here comes Sanchez again. Sanchez, a trio of defenders, wisely pulls it back.
Not sure if it's a lapse in focus or if it's the slippiness on the field, but there's just been a bit of a disconnect here for Franklin Pierce in the last couple of passes, struggling to really maintain possession.
The rain that was coming down intermittently and in a drizzle at most in the first half, it has picked up here in the second. More of a steady stream, still not raining hard, but it is a slick surface at the very least. Both teams taking the opportunity to catch their breath. Our official coming over here to the near side. A few words for Rodrigo Parafita Bastillero. Bastillero, it appears, trying to pick up a few meters as some changes. Shaya and Williams, like they will be coming on in a bit for the Ravens, getting some last words of instruction before they enter. I've read all the stats for the Ravens, and as impressive as they are, a team that hasn't lost in 2 years, 732 days to be exact, 65 victories and 3 draws since that loss in the 3rd round of 2021 tournament to Millersville. This is not a CSU Pueblo team that is phased. A lot of teams, I think they go up against Franklin Pierce and they see the stats, they see the resume, the goal differential, whatever it is, and a lot of them, it's difficult to get in the mindset that you have a chance to win this game. And credit the Thunderwolves, that has not been the case for a single second.
Right, you can tell that they feel deserving to be there. They feel like they absolutely have some skin in the game. They have a chance at this, and it's not a Hail Mary, Rudy kind of chance either. It's, hey, we're in this, and it can easily be ours.
I don't know what the soccer equivalent of Rudy is.
Me neither.
Maybe the Garacharrua there of Uruguay. That tiny country has won 2 World Cups, albeit some time ago. Still a very impressive outfit there.
Maybe Leo Messi at one point working through his growth issues. And
I have a feeling at 10 he was playing there for Newell's Old Boys in Argentina. I think he was
still handling it.
Still a handle. And now the change is coming as, speaking of Argentines, Lucio Shaya comes back on. Number 22 for the Ravens. Caleb Williams on as well. Campora. Team's battling for possession. It'll trickle all the way back to Zavicini. Mayo, always such great vision there in the center of the park, trying to find a room to exploit.
Really had to put in a ton of work in that last Florida Tech game. Been relatively quiet here Oliveira, not so much.
Oliveira going right at Shaya. The Argentine coming up the better that time, but couldn't keep possession. Now Zavacini. Ortiz Peña looking for space to serve it in, and does, but couldn't find a teammate. I really like the game of Noé Ortiz Peña, I've said it, but he's just very direct. When he has the ball, you know he's going to run at defenders, make things happen. There's not a lot of sitting, waiting.
He's hungry for the ball, hungry to move forward.
Great service in Oliveira. Ortiz Peña has it, and he's going to win the corner wisely. Able to play it off the defender. Does the Aurora, Colorado man, and a set piece coming. And maybe that is the trick for the Thunderwolves. Can they find something from the dead ball?
Right, continue trying to work off that set piece. They've got a ton of height up there that can put it away.
Oliveira lofts this one to the back post for net again. He is sure-handed as they come, and the quick restart.
Even with the overhead throw on that one. Man, he just feels unstoppable. You can feel that confidence emanating from him there on the goal line.
Katie, you said it. You need confidence as a player, but as a goalkeeper, it is of paramount importance. And Carl Vernet, he has it in spades. That is what you want to see, that man between the sticks, and it just exudes confidence that bleeds over to the rest of his teammates. Williams dancing, dispossessed.
You know, sometimes you see players out there on the field, and it's almost like they have this inner knowing. They just know that they're unstoppable. They know that they're someone who is unfazed and that they could maybe be down a goal or so, and it doesn't matter because they come back.
I think you're right. Sometimes as a player, you know that just it's your night, it's your week, whatever the case may be, things are going your way. And I think for Vernet, that is the case. He's just, even though he conceded some goals in the semifinal, he has come back today as confident as ever. And that in itself speaks volumes. The fact that he didn't get down, he just bounced right back. Heading forward, Parafita Bastillero calling for it. Uneo there, Kenshin Uneo. Always almost a poor giveaway, as I was singing the praises of the Japanese midfielder.
Tell you what, he really is in the right place at the right time, always. And he has that engine that doesn't stop. I mean, you can see that every guy on this field right now is tired, but that's just what comes with it. That's the card that is in everyone's hand right now.
Who can battle through all the off-season, the weightlifting, the training, the running, as Campora, looks like he took a shot there. May have been the hand of Shaya back. There's Gabriel Campora still down just outside the center circle, but play will continue, at least for the time being. Sometimes we think of the season as when that first game is played, and you know better than anybody, that is just a part of what they are putting in, the work all off-season long.
Right.
Season's when you get to show it off.
Right, exactly. And it was actually head coach Keeley of Point Loma who mentioned that one of her players said, thank you so much for making us get up in those early mornings in preseason and work out, because it led us to this point. And you know that every player on this field cannot complain about the sprints, the conditioning, the maybe even changes in diet at times, all the film coverage, everything that they had to do to get to this point. You've got to be grateful for it.
Sent in by the Ravens, none there. Off his line. Stellar freshman goalkeeper. He's kept it a one-goal game. The way Franklin Pierce is playing, you would imagine that he would have to. If they're able to find a second, that may well do it. Their defense and Carl Vernet playing as well as he has been tonight. They have not been able to find insurance, nor the Thunderwolves the equalizer. Fetty, great through ball, none off his line, and this may be it. It is insurance for the Ravens. Antonio Lamprea Lima, the sophomore from Lisbon, Portugal, his second goal in as many matches, and it's 2-0 Franklin Pierce.
You know, Kit, you called it. You said looking for that insurance goal, and just time was of the essence there, and none other Beautiful ball through. Look at that, right through the seam, and it's that last touch. Oh, man, and Ryan Nunn really came off his line, something he's so good at, just didn't quite get big enough, wasn't able to open up. He might be able to contribute some of that to that slippery field, but what fantastic work there.
Sanchez in the 49th. Lamprey Lima in the 65th. A little boot shine there from Fetty, and for good reason. That's right, the fans back in Lisbon, they are staying up late to watch this one. All love from that young man, Antonio Lamprey Lima. 2-0, Franklin Pierce. Now the pressure really on the Thunderwolves.
This is beginning to look a lot more like the Franklin Pierce that we all know and that we've all heard about. They open up the scoring line, and it's not long after before another follows. But if you're CSU Pueblo 2-0, you're still in it. You cannot count them out at this point. They've had so many close calls, and even if they were to not be able to come back and equalize this, as a player, I'd rather lose 2-1 than say a 2-0 or a 3-0. So if you're not actively continuing to score, then you can just count yourselves out. I don't think that's going to happen with CSU Pueblo.
No, not a shadow of a chance. This is a team that will battle until that final whistle. Zavicini pressing forward, but that ball in transition on the money to Lamprey Lima. He was calm and cool on the finish. Made no mistake, none off his line. Nothing the freshman goalkeeper could do about that. Goal scorers, regardless of the situation, able to find the net, and particularly in big moments like this, and that is exactly what Lamprey Lima did. Had the game winner in the semifinal against Lewis. Insurance here against CSU Pueblo with the title on the line. The only question is, will it stand? And the Thunderwolves find a way back into this one. Pressure coming, almost turned over yet again. Nunn well out of his box, and had to be frustration, miscommunication, it appeared, by the Thunderwolves. Nunn there to clean things up, or it well could have been 3-0 for the Ravens.
Franklin Pierce, once they start opening up that scoring line, they just get into this flow state really easily. I think it's almost like a muscle memory for them. They find the seam, and then they find another, then they find another. And so much more of an uphill battle than it may seem here for CSU Pueblo.
Ravens coaching staff led by first-year head coach Travis Brent looking on. They were the coaching staff of the year in Division II soccer last season, led by Ruben Resendez, who has since moved on, now the head coach at Bryant University in Rhode Island. But we said it, replacing a coach, replacing players, the drop-off has been non-existent. Chipped over, trying to run onto this as Branco will send it out for the Thunderwolves throw. Branco, another player who's come off the bench and gotten big minutes here in the final, and it's been stellar out of Portimao, Portugal. That Iberian connection, it's very much there for Franklin Pierce, be they from Portugal or Spain. A lot of talent making its way to New Hampshire.
With such a cultural melting pot, sometimes that has a tendency to influence the game. And when you look at this Franklin Pierce team, they're just so good at movement and creativity, and you have to know that those cultural differences must play a role.
Well, Ferry down on the pitch, is Preto able to get back up, but it's been a tough game for Hero Ferry, one of the graduate students. Another Spaniard out of Valencia. Time is off. 17-15 remaining in the match. A chance for Coach Brent to have a few words there with the goal scorer. Lamprey Lima found insurance in the 65th. Lamprey Lima, his 10th goal after the 9th in the semifinal of the season. But one of those players that, with the talent that Yunus Hadar has, some of these goal scorers may go under the radar a bit for the Ravens. We talk about Sanchez, who've had goal. You talk about guys like that maybe the focus isn't on them because of Adar, but I think they're more than happy for that to be the case. When they have the chance, they make the most of it.
Right, you have Edo Ferri, João Valente, Antonio Lampreda, who's only a sophomore, by the way. Just sky is the absolute limit for them. And, you know, sometimes when you have a really strong center striker like Yunus Adar, they end up taking up a lot of those goal-scoring opportunities. And so things might change next season when he graduates. They might emerge as that top goal scorer themselves.
That's a very good point. So many upperclassmen on this roster. Lampreda Lima, one of the underclassmen as the sophomore. They look to next season, they'll certainly be looking to him. Adar able to play it on, moving forward. Oh, another opportunity flying in, trying to find the spectacular. But it will remain with the Ravens as they look for the third. That would certainly be the icing on this one.
It's always so hard to say in those situations if you want to hold the run, if you want to go in full speed. You just don't know what the delivery is going to be like all the time. But the intention is really good, and you can't deny things are heating up here for Franklin Pierce.
Looking for their second consecutive national title. It would be their 8th in program history. Adar looking for the spectacular off the chest. Adar still. There's not enough room to ever get a shot off. Ferri wisely, he could have just sent it back into the mixer, but knew to pull it back to keep possession, have another go.
A lot to be said for their patience here.
Continue just to knock things around. Two to nothing. Ravens, 15 and a half left with a title on the line. Two teams that met last year in Seattle. The final in that match, 2-0 in favor of Franklin Pierce. Eerily similar. Williams cutting in, looking to put it on the right, knocked away Savicini there. But no one had blew up the pitch. Everyone back defending, and almost everyone, with the exception of Campora, behind the ball right now for CSU Pueblo. In it goes, Nunn.
Heck of a save from Nunn, intercepting just in time. But CSU Pueblo, they're going to have to start communicating a little bit better. They're slow. They're being more reactive than proactive. They need to find some sort of a shift, maybe a super sub here to kind of shift the momentum back in their favor.
Wave after wave of Ravens attack being thrown at the goal of Nunn. And again, it bears repeating, they are without one of their star defenders, Sean Andrews, who is injured his shoulder, it appeared, in the semifinal. He never returned to that match. Normally a starter, did not start today and is not featured in this match. And as good as they are, as talented as they are, that's a big loss without the graduate student from Longmont, Colorado.
That it is, especially the injuries that he has battled up until that point. 2 years redshirted, third year, a few minutes, was going to just move on, decided to stay for his grad year and really unlocked his potential and was such a key piece of the puzzle for Pueblo.
Yeah, one of those players coming back and hoping that this would be the season after getting so close last year. Clear foul there, the shirt tug from Lampreda Lima, and I believe he is going to head to the book as well. He will. The first yellow issued to the Ravens is the goal scorer, Antonio Lampreda Lima, sees the caution with just under 14 minutes remaining.
Clearly a tactical foul there, trying to slow down the momentum. Knew there was an outnumbered situation there.
Coleman trying to find a bit of space to get this one off. No space to be had around Cuenca Retuerto, and what is there quickly sent up. Adar always looking to move forward, has Williams in transition. Williams brought down, and two there. Who is going to get the foul? It's going to be Zavicini, who sees yellow with the tackle on Caleb Williams. And Williams, the junior from Attleboro, Mass, still down on the pitch in obvious pain.
Quite the tabletop there for him. Hard hit coming down.
Number 2, Dylan Zavicini.
Zavicini, the junior defender from Brazil, now in the book, the third Thunderwolf to have received the yellow in this match. TJ Tucker, the sophomore from Hopedale, Mass. There, number 28, out on the pitch as well. So we mentioned the international talent. There's some New England talent on this roster as well. Tucker as well as Williams, both Massachusetts natives.
It's always nice to be close to home.
For them, this is I don't know, I would say just about 60 degrees. This is a warm summer day. Williams will take it himself. And what a free kick. The icing on top. Caleb Williams. Take a bow. 3-0 Ravens. Stellar from Williams.
That was an absolute stunner. Of course, celebration more than warranted. And talk about returning the favor here of a really hard tackle. Definitely had a chip on his shoulder, a chip over the line for sure, and into that 90. No one's getting on the end of that.
Williams with his 7th goal of the season. The junior from Attleboro, Mass. Makes it look easy. That is one that you have practiced not hundreds, but thousands of times. You're putting the wall up. You're out there in the field by yourself. You may be doing it when it's dark. You may not have lights. And he knew exactly where it was going, measured it, wrapped it up and over, a picture-perfect finish to make it 3-0 in favor of the Ravens.
Absolutely beautiful quality that you just don't see nowadays. Just good stuff all the way across the board for Franklin Pierce, and it's crazy to think they're in a final and Unisadar hasn't even scored yet.
Just about to say, 3 different goal scorers, and not one of them Unisadar, who is 2nd in the country with 21 goals. You've had Sanchez with the opener in the 49th, Lamprea Lima Insurance in the 65th, and just moments ago, Williams with the absolutely stunning free kick.
Not only that, to know that they're undefeated up until this point, 2 years almost without a loss, and to know that they make it to the final and the score is 3-0, it's not close.
732 days ago, their last loss, I should say, 3rd round of the NCAA tournament in 2021. They lost in penalty kicks to Millersville to end the season, and ever since then, 65 victories and 3 draws. 1 NCAA title a year ago. Could they make it 2 in a row? And trainer coming out, but I think he's okay. As Cuenca Retuerto, that's an emphatic, I'm just fine.
What is going on here? 1 minute he's writhing in the pain, the next minute he's doing push-ups. Man, everyone loves a guy like that on your team, though.
Yeah, they're different in País Vasco, I can tell you. Those are some tough people up there in that part. And Cuenca Retuerto, he is certainly showing that for sure.
It's one way to get in the head of your opponents, slowing things down, and then.
Yeah, anyone who's ever watched La Liga and you've watched Athletic Bilbao play, you can say they play with heart. It doesn't matter who they're playing against. That is the heart that they show, and it is just something that they all have. I can certainly attest to that, as can number 24 there for the Ravens. He is not coming off the pitch, nor would you imagine he would.
You know, you talk about your Sports Center top 10, and I feel like that warrants credit. It's just not something you see every day. Screams crazy.
12:37 remaining. All smiles from the Ravens, and understandably so. CSU Pueblo may be too late to find 3 goals in such a small amount of time, but could they find one, pull a goal back, and at least find a goal in this championship match? Last year they were shut out 2-0. And I can tell you they do not want to be shut out again if indeed they are going to fall to the Ravens. As you see, Rodrigo Parafita Bastillero set to come back on. One of the captains. He's gotten an extended break. What a side this is, and I have a feeling this may just be the beginning under Coach Brent's reign there. And on the other side, Ryan Nunn and his team. The good news is he's just a freshman, so he is going to have more opportunities, and keep an eye on that young man. And hold on. Red card coming out after we went to the video assistant referee. Let's see if we can get another look at this, as there was a mass there. Here it is. Oliveira just laying this one off to a teammate. Body's inside the box. And you could see Cuenca Retuerto went down. I believe that is Campora on him inside.
Is it for the takedown or for the flop?
Still trying to wait to see. Waiting for confirmation on that red card. So DeMarco will have the throw-in, but a huge turn right there, as we are going to have, you saw the red card from our official. Still waiting, as I mentioned, to receive confirmation on the red card. Well, apologies there, a bit of confusion as that has not been relayed our way.
Can't just go flashing reds around like that. Puts everyone on the edge of their seat.
Not in this sport, you can't. Back to the action. We will obviously keep you posted. Burnett there again.
Massive credit to Burnett. I mean, they were stationary for what, about 5 minutes there, and he just turned it right back on.
Yeah, Burnett has done his job. And just by the process of elimination, Gabriel Campora is no longer on the pitch. I think it may be safe to say that the Saltillo, Mexico native, the man who saw that red, again, still waiting for the confirmation, but I don't know any other reason that you would bring your star striker off the pitch at this juncture, down 3-0.
Must be him, not on there, and it's looking like we're working with 10 players on the field here.
Yeah, they've brought Joe Baston on, the senior from Newport, Wales, plugging in up top. And there's another Thunderwolf down, and as you saw there, the bottom right of your screen, Noe Ortiz Peña, the star substitute, right in front of the scorers table. So our Coach 12 Trees less than pleased, having some words for our official and the fourth official. Ortiz Peña is down, and there comes a card, and I believe that was Aitor Cuenca Retuerto who saw the yellow. Things starting to devolve here, not what you want to see in a championship match.
Aitor Cuenca.
Not at all. Of course, emotions at an all-time high, and you have to want CSU Pueblo to not end on this note. You want them to come out and continue fighting this quality fight like they have been.
Cuenca Retuerto sees the caution as Ortiz Peña slow to get back to his feet, but good to see him there. Having a few words with his trainer. Joshua Gardner there just checking on number 9, and it appears that he will be able to continue, which is obviously good news. Yeah, a match like this, you don't want it to wrap up in such a fashion. It's been a very entertaining match. High pace, back and forth action. You don't want it to be marred by the end with a lot of fouls. There's one there, is Ortiz Peña committing the foul on DJ Tucker. All goals coming in the second half for Franklin Pierce. They waited just 5 minutes as Aaron Sanchez found the opener. And Antonio Lamprea Lima in the 65th, and in the 78th, Caleb Williams with a free kick of world-class quality to make it 3-0. Tucker, out of room. Lamprea Lima tries to cut it back and wins the foul.
Not bad, trying to work his way out of it, but ends up on the field anyway, slow to get up.
appears changes set to come on as you see Parafita Bastillero there on the right. Roberto Jose, the one. Looks like he would be coming on as well. I saw the man sitting on the game winner, Aaron Sanchez. Also, looks like he will rejoin the fray. Adar, the focus has been on him. The Ravens haven't needed the star striker.
You know, Coach Brent did mention that he's really a selfless player despite having the most goals on the team. He does so much for his teammates.
Well, we've had a heavy tackle from behind. You can see that slow to his feet. Williams, who had that stellar free kick, Oliveira pleading his case. And it's always going to be difficult. Oliveira got the ball, but coming from behind, if you get a piece of the opponent, chances are you're going to get the whistle as well.
Right, and you know, if I'm a coach, Coach 12-Tree over here for CSU Pueblo, I'm not mad that my guys are fouling and getting angry. They should be. And I would rather see my guys bringing their best and not going down without a fight. And if that means bringing up fouls and really getting a little chippy, then so be it.
Trying to battle back. Down 3-0, 3 second-half goals from the Ravens as they will make changes. It appears that one will come for the Thunderwolves as well. I believe it is DeMarc coming off. It is indeed. And Jardel Conte comes on, the senior defender out of London, England, making his first appearance as Sanchez, Parafita Bastillero, and Roberto Jose the one coming on, all for Franklin Pierce.
And number 7, Aaron Sanchez. Third place, Antonio Lampiro.
A little too early for the celebrations to start, but there are a lot of smiles on that Ravens bench, and you can certainly understand why.
Everyone can deserve a pat on the back up into this moment. 3 goals and a national final. It's impressive, but of course, still 7+ minutes to go. Not someone that you want to take it easy against CSU Pueblo.
The number 1 seed had not allowed a goal in the postseason until the 2 they gave up in a battle against Lewis. They won 3-2, but remember, they trailed 2-1 late in that match before they were able to find 2 late goals to send them to this championship, second consecutive title game. They've shown they can play, and coming out of Region 1, it has sent a team to the championship match each of the past 6 seasons, and obviously that has boded well for them. Too tall there for Baston. The rain continues to fall, but it will not dampen the celebrations. Williams there. Oliveira turns, not on target. There are so many players, including that man right there, the senior from Miami, Carl Burnett. You're going to look at the clean sheet and say, oh, maybe he wasn't tested, his offense doing the work. That is not the case. He has been busy. He's come up with some saves. And on a team like the Ravens, as talented as they are, I don't think he gets enough credit.
Definitely not. Some big, big saves, especially in that first half while his team was trying to figure it out. And, of course, they figured things out here in the second half. But even then, he stayed switched on. That's so hard to do at times. But, you know, when called upon, he's answered.
He has indeed. One of 3 goalkeepers they have, one of 2, I should say, they've used this year. But he hasn't gotten a ton of time, at least until late in the season. It was Diego Montoya Casillas for the majority of the early going. And another card coming out here, it would appear. Yes, it is. And that is going to be Baston, who sees yellow, joining that club with Rodrigo Parafita Bastillero down on the pitch. Still over 5 minutes remaining as Burnett looking on. I love a goalkeeper who never see the change just a flat line of emotion. Doesn't get high, doesn't get low, just keeps his team right there, and that's exactly what Vernet does. He leads by example. Sports are emotional. Soccer's emotional. You need somebody who's going to keep an even keel, and that is the senior from Miami.
That is so true. Someone who can just settle everyone else when they're in the middle of a storm.
Tackles continuing to come in. Tucker pressing forward. Retuerto tries to get a shot off, cannot. Still Ravens working. They have not parked the bus by any stretch, even up 3-0. I wonder if they would downshift. They haven't even done that.
They haven't, and you know, you have to think that CSU Pueblo, they're struggling mentally here in this moment. Under 5 minutes to go, they're down 3-0. The second that they scored that second goal, things changed. There was an energy shift from them, and it's understandable. But when you're here at this final and everything is on the line, you just cannot drop any energy at all whatsoever.
They have not. They switched off for a bit in the semifinal. Lewis came back, did the Flyers, as we mentioned, late in that match. The Ravens have not made that mistake here in the final. Could it be a fourth? Branco just wide. It was looking for the near post. And Pedro Branco, another super sub who's played a massive final match, couldn't put it on.
Poor Branco, head in the hands on a couple occasions here, but what a quality run. He's composed, he's calm, but ends up cutting off his angle, I think, is Ryan Nunn. Making that one difficult for him.
And now the changes coming for both teams. Saw Palau Gonzalez Suarez, the graduate student defender from Oviedo, Spain, coming on. And these new faces for both sides. So the starters coming off here, and they will, at least for the Ravens, get to begin those celebrations that will commence in just about 4 minutes. Espedo off as well. What a job he's done on the back line, the graduate student from Norway.
I feel like, of course, only 3 minutes and some change to go. Yes, you're going to win this one, but if I were a coach, I don't want any celebrations happening until that whistle blows.
Thunderwolves trying to pull one back. Make the scoreline a bit closer, not get shut out. And here comes Sanchez sitting on the game winner. Netted it in the 49th. Ravens have a fourth. Pedro Branco with his first of the match, in the junior from Portimao, Portugal. Rewarded with his efforts. 4-0, Franklin Pierce.
You feel for these guys. But man, when that jersey comes off, you know that felt good. 4-0 in a final. They're unmatched. They're unstoppable.
They beat the Thunderwolves 2-0 in Seattle a year ago to win their 7th title. This year, they've doubled that scoreline in number 8, just 3 minutes away.
You just can't give Pedro Branco another opportunity there. He handled it perfectly. He wasn't going to squander that one on the second opportunity, and no head in the hands here.
And you can understand the celebration, not just a goal in the final, but Branco's first goal of the season.
Oh my goodness, so even better. Man, no better way to close out the season.
Branco, one of those players that has come off the bench and played big minutes today for the Ravens, and justly rewarded with the goal, able to get it by Nunn. 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers for the Ravens, and again, none of them named Yunus Adar. And that is not a knock on a man who scored 21 goals, second in all of Division II. That is just talking about the quality and depth that Franklin Pierce has. Could it be a 5th? Corner kick coming. No, they're going to say Ravens. Last to touch it there was Gonzalez Suarez.
Still some time to go, and you just can't switch off. Just because you're down, you got to have some dignity. You got to keep playing through the final minute. and do what you can to stay in the game. And sometimes it's these really hard moments that are the most teachable.
732 days since they have lost a match. 65 wins, no losses, 3 draws since the third round. PK lost to Millersville in 2021. And ever since, this team, 25-0-1 a year ago, 20-0-2 this year, and less than 2 minutes away from going 21-0-2. Oliveira has done everything he can for his side. The captain, the senior, playing in may well be his final match for the Thunderwolves.
They could even get one in on them before this time runs out. I think they can pat themselves on the back.
70 seconds remaining.
One minute.
Conta trying to find a teammate down that top touch line. Under a minute left. Probing, but no entry into that defense. Sadar able to flick it on. Here comes Sanchez. Sanchez streaming forward. Has a man with him. Sanchez takes it himself. What a save. Off his line is none. Still none in no man's land. No chance for Gonzalez Suarez to get a shot off.
Great work from Nunn there. That's something that he's known for, is coming off his line with speed, and he did it really well there in that situation. He's got a bit of a limp now. You can tell he's not going to get out of this one unscathed.
What a save from the freshman goalkeeper to keep the scoreline 4-0. Looked for all the world that was going to be the fifth.
8, 7,
but for the second consecutive
5,
season,
4, 3, 2, 1.
it is going to be the Ravens of Franklin Pierce. They did it in 2022. They repeat in 2023. Your NCAA Division II men's soccer champions.
Congratulations to your national champion, the Ravens from Franklin Pierce University.
A first-year head coach, a new crop of players, but the result is the same. The title heading back to New Hampshire for Franklin Pierce.
And they can be so proud. A 4-0 scoreline. It could have been anyone's game in that first half. I've gotta ask what was said to them at halftime for them to come out and put 4 goals away and let up none. Second year in a row, and it wasn't even close.
732 days since they have lost a match, and that is going to extend by quite a bit until at least the beginning of next season. But this team, the cream of the crop in men's Division II soccer. And the hats off to Travis Brent, Diego Thillian, JP Navarro, Riley Brooks, and Jeff Broder, alongside Brianna Kinder, the entire staff there. The celebration is on, and you can understand why. But on the other end of things, you have to give Ryan Dunn, the freshman, and his side tons of credit. Oliver 12 Trees, Nick Blackwell, Mark Ngoga, Joshua Gardner. A heartbreaking loss in the final for the second consecutive season.
Heartbreaking loss, and again, such a hard-fought battle, especially in that first half. Very deserving. Again, anyone who's made it to this game can pat themselves on the back. It's a huge resume builder, and yes, it's going to hurt looking back on it. It's something to be learned moving into next season, but again, a second season for them here in the final. And if they really want it, maybe they'll do it again next season. But so poetic here, even in the rain, trophies being raised. You know that feels so good for Franklin Pierce.
You said it, Katie. Could 2024 be the third edition of the Ravens and the Thunderwolves? I don't think any fan would say no to that. It has been a great first two, but the Ravens, for the second year in a row, able to surpass the Thunderwolves. Another title, their 8th in program history. Congratulations again to the Franklin Pierce University Ravens, your 2023 NCAA Men's Division II Soccer Champions. We'll step aside for the trophy presentation. What a final it was. What a way to wrap things up. And congratulations to those young men of Franklin Pierce University.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the field for the award ceremony for the 2023 Division II Men's Soccer Championships. First, let's congratulate both teams on their outstanding achievements and thank our host, Wingate University, for their partnership, commitment, and success in hosting this year's national championship. Presenting the awards are members of the Division II Men's Soccer Committee. First up will be the naming of the all-tournament team. From Lewis, number 10, Jerome Bogers. And from Florida Tech, number 5, Shadur Dressler. From CSU Pueblo, number 2, Dylan Sabatini. From CSU Pueblo, number 7, Caio Oliveira. And from CSU Pueblo, number 14, Kenshin Uneo. From Franklin Pierce, number 1, Carl Vernet. From Franklin Pierce, number 7, Aaron Sanchez. From Franklin Pierce, number 8, Geronimo Ferrando Ferry. From Franklin Pierce, number 9, Eunice Adar. From Franklin Pierce, number 10, Antonio Lampira Lima. And from Franklin Pierce, number 14, Thomas Esperio. The most outstanding defensive player from Franklin Pierce, number 14, Thomas Esperio. The most outstanding offensive player from Franklin Pierce, number 10, Antonio Lampira Lima. It is now time to honor the national runner-ups. Will the following individuals please come forward to receive your award when your name is called? Number 1, Ruben Volkert. Number 2, Dylan Sabatini. Number 3, Jardel Conte. Number 4, Giancarlo Preto. Number 5, Sean Andrews. Number 6, Jack Pasco. Number 7, Caio Oliveira. Number 8, Matt Coleman. Number 9, Noe Ortiz Pena. Number 10, Reggie Nicholas. Number 11, Ricardo Schroeder. Number 12, Sam Birch. Number 13, Ignatius DeMarc. Number 14, Kenshin Uneo. Number 16, Emil Johnson. Number 17, Sam Bailey. Number 18, Will Boyle. Number 20, Aiden O'Hara. Number 22, Joseph Baston. Number 23, Gabriel Campora. Number 24, Alan Ferdman. Number 25, Robert Zampier. Number 29, Jared Maciel. And number 99, Ryan Nunn. Now will head coach Oliver Twelvetrees and the team captains please come forward to accept their trophy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to CSU Pueblo on a fantastic season, the national runner-ups. And now to honor our national champions from Franklin Pierce University. When your name is called, please step forward to receive your trophy. Number 1, Carl Burnett. Number 2, Pedro Branco. Number 3, Rodrigo Perafita Ballestiero. Number 4, Roberto Jose Dubon. Number 5, Joaquin Loria. Number 6, Colton Matera. Number 7, Aaron Sanchez. Number 8, Geronimo Ferrando Ferri. Number 9, Younes Adar. Number 10, Antonio Lampiro Lima. Number 11, Alvaro Ray Mira. Number 12, David Skordamu. Number 14, Thomas Espero. Number 16, Martin Carpena. Number 17, Paleo Gonzalez Suarez. Number 18, Tiago Barraguina. Number 19, Gal Valente. Number 20, Caleb Williams. Number 21, Javier Torres Sanchez. Number 22, Lucio Shaya. Number 23, Pierre Spiegel. Number 24, Atir Cueca. Number 28, Denoy Tucker. And number 35, Jet Barbic. And head coach, Travis Brent. And now, will head coach Travis Brent and the team captains please come forward to accept the trophy. Once again, congratulations to the Franklin Pierce Ravens, your 2023 NCAA Division II Men's Soccer National Champions. On behalf of the NCAA and our host institution, Wingate University, we thank you for your attendance at the 2023 NCAA Division II Men's Soccer Championships. Please remember that Lee University will host next year's NCAA Division II Soccer Championships December 12th through 15th at Chi Memorial Stadium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Once again, congratulations to our champions, Franklin Pierce. Have a safe trip home, and we will see you next year in Chattanooga.